Hello, everyone. I'm Graham Ledger, and welcome to the Daily Ledger. Our cover story, the Bernie juggernaut kicking into high gear at the political expense of Hillary. Not only does Bernie have his Marxist sights set on Wisconsin, he's also looking ahead to New York right now, positioning himself for an epic political battle against the presumptive Democrat nominee. What's more, Bernie is looking to flip Clinton pledged superdelegates. All this is pointing to an April shower of coronation consternation for Hillary. And phase one is the Badger State, an Emerson College poll of likely Democrat voters in Wisconsin. Hillary, 50%, Bernie, 44%, margin of error, 4.6%, which means with 1 week to go, it is a statistical dead heat.
Here is a well-known political truth, and that truth is that Republicans win elections when people are demoralized and they don't come out to vote. Progressives and Democrats win elections when working people and young people and seniors and veterans stand up, fight back, and come out to vote. And I believe that our campaign is the campaign of energy, of momentum, which will lead to a large voter turnout in November and victory.
Let's focus on really sending people to Washington who can get things done. Now, will it be 100% pure? No, there is no such thing in a democracy. Go back and read the Federalist Papers. But will it be so much better than where we are now? Absolutely. So that is my plea. Obviously, I also would love to earn your support in the primary, but let's go out and win for the future.
Now, it wasn't supposed to be like this. The Democrat National Committee was supposed to clear the field so that Hillary could strut untouched into the end zone, spike the football, and move on to the big game, the general election. So, what happened? Joining me now from Kansas City, Missouri, partner with Axiom Strategies, Travis Smith. Travis, Bernie Sanders, he's running a pretty good campaign. You have to admit, a pretty good ground game, and his troops are energized, clearly. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, pretty good campaign overall. Obviously, she has a good ground game. She has miles and miles of experience under that belt, if you will, but her troops are not energized. Is that what's going on here?
It looks to be that way, yes. I think your assumption's correct, and it's an interesting fight, and one in which, as a bystander here, I'm enjoying watching play out.
So let's move on to Philadelphia. Clearly, Bernie Sanders is not going to throw in the towel. In fact, you know, there is a shot here that he could actually walk away with this thing. It's a long shot, but he still could. Either way, he's going to hang on all the way into Philadelphia in the convention. Does this make for, then, possibly a very contentious situation? Or will all the dealings be done behind the scenes with Debbie Wasserman Schultz right in the middle of the whole thing, trying to make it appear there's some sort of party unity? Or is Bernie just a big wild card in all of this?
It looks to me that he's a bit of a wild card, but, you know, stranger things have happened. I think that there are going to be a lot of fireworks over there in Philadelphia. It'll be fun to watch. I think Hillary is the odds-on favorite at this point, and even in a convention battle. But some of the Bernie folks can get energized, and they have quite a different nomination process than the Republican side, and we'll look forward to watching it.
Contested convention, probably not for the Democrats, numerically speaking, but testy convention, indeed it could be. Now, for the Republicans in Wisconsin, it wasn't that long ago that Donald Trump had a 10-point lead over, I believe it was Ted Cruz. Now it is a toss-up between Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. What's happened here? Is it Marco Rubio dropping out? Is it the ugliness of the campaign? Is it the establishment rallying behind Ted Cruz and rejecting John Kasich? All of those things? What do you think?
I think it is all the above. We've watched the establishment coalesce here around Ted Cruz. I think that momentum is going to continue all the way up until Wisconsin on Tuesday. It's interesting, though. I think in almost every contest thus far, in a dead heat, margin of error, polling, really tight neck and neck battle down the stretch, Ted Cruz usually performs better than the polling previously indicates on election day. So if this thing is locked up going into Wisconsin, I put my money on Ted Cruz. And you gotta take into consideration too that the unmatched, unparalleled level of the political effort, the ground game that the Cruz teams put together over the past really a year or more. Donald Trump's playing catch up at this point. He's going to have a hard time.
All right, let's look at a couple of scenarios I've put together. I have 4 in all. I don't know if we'll get to them all, but I want to go with scenario A first, and that is going into the convention. Scenario A, Donald Trump is denied the nomination by rule at the convention. Trump then decides to run third party, which will split the Republican vote, and of course that would hand Hillary Clinton, or Bernie, if Hillary happens to be in jail, but probably Hillary, would hand her the election if Trump goes as a third party. What do you think? Donald Trump made a pledge not to go third party. Dynamics certainly have changed over the last 3 months. What do you think about that?
Look, yeah, there's a couple of problems with that. First, that presupposes that in a general election contest, that Donald Trump takes more votes from Republicans than he does Democrats. I don't know that that's true. That's frankly in dispute now. I haven't seen any data to speak to that. The second thing to note here is Donald Trump is trying to have his cake and eat it too, if what you're proposing ends up being the case. He wants to run a campaign on the sort of the backs of the Republican Party, but then if things don't go his way, he wants to potentially run as an independent. And I think he needs to pick.
All right. Well, let's
if we take him at his word, yes.
Let's go to the next scenario, scenario B. That is Donald Trump, again, at the convention, is denied the nomination by rule, and his supporters, the populists, we'll call them, are mad. They don't vote, or maybe they even vote Democrat to get even with the Republican Party. There's an establishment nominee. Conservatives don't know where to go in an election like this. Maybe they support the establishment nominee, maybe they don't. But again, it ends up Hillary winning because of lack of interest, or lack of support, or lack of motivation. People are not energized. In other words, it's not unlike 2008 and 2012 all over again. And I think in the big picture with this one, Travis, is that it would point to the disarray of the Republican Party and possibly the implosion of the Republican Party.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, that's almost a nuclear scenario, which you've just outlined. I don't think that that'll happen. In fact, I think what's more likely is what we're seeing right now, this grand ideological battle playing out on the convention stage. You've got Donald Trump, and let's call a spade. What he's done in this election is really unparalleled, at least in recent political history. But frankly, so has the Ted Cruz campaign efforts. I mean, they have done exactly what they said they were going to do, which is turn out evangelicals, turn out the base, and turn out conservatives. And so this fight playing out in front of us in full view here is this battle between the sort of populist, moderate centrist, maybe even a number of Democrats kind of wing of the party with the evangelical conservative base. This is make no mistake, this is an ideological fight that we're watching right in front of us right now.
Right, and I would throw in there a third wing of the fight, and that is the populists. So it's the populists versus the conservatives versus the establishments. I think it's a three-pronged situation here. And the bottom line is I have 2 more scenarios. We'll get to them another time. One, Trump wins, and one, Trump does not win, but we'll get to them another time. But the bottom line is if the Republican Party does not unite around a single candidate in November, they're not only going to lose the election, but I think they're going to lose their party. Travis, thanks. Coming up next, a big endorsement for president from the Wisconsin governor, Scott Walker. Also ahead, spineless Republican governor of Georgia.
I do not think that we have to discriminate against anyone to protect the faith-based community in Georgia.